Yeah, I think it's a tough way to end. We played so well, but what I just told them and what I just said on the radio is, 3 weeks ago, not a lot of people would give us a chance, and probably deservingly so. The way we were playing, the way the season was kind of unfolding, and you watch it, and there's sometimes teams just go south, they just can't handle it, and so you got to credit, and I just told them it's not me, it's not anything we did or any speeches or motivation. It's they hung together, what great teams do, and they knew that they were better than that. They held each other accountable, and they stayed together and continued to play hard. And at first it didn't work. We'd win and lose the next two on a Saturday or Sunday, but they hung in there. And then all of a sudden we won a few games, and we're playing really well at the end. Today was really kind of what the weekend was about, why they're so good, and what a great job that Jim Schlossnagel's done and his entire staff. You got to really tip your hat to them. Where they were a year ago, and to kind of get them to play like they're playing now. And that's why they've had the season they've had, because they've been able to do it for 30 years, right? And they've been able to make pitches, swing. Obviously, the fourth inning today, 7 runs, and that's it's hard to overcome that. But Menifee, in the middle with 4 1/3 innings was really the other really the star, right? People remember 2 home runs, and which they should, but still a 9-5 game, and we had 6 at bats left, and then so we blew the lead, but we were hopeful that we'd get back into it. But that was really, like I'm saying, what the weekend was all about. That they just continued to play well and handle everything. But I'm proud of our guys. They put themselves in a position to hopefully play for a few more weeks.
What were your impressions of Diamond and then maybe Fernando on the board?
Diamond just didn't look strong today. He looked a little off. I don't know if when I grabbed him, after the first, he didn't look right today. Almost a little under the weather, and he didn't say he was. So, but he just didn't look strong today. He didn't have the command that he normally does, and so that's what I think this weekend came down to. We just two of the 3 games we just didn't pitch it well enough to win this type of series against that type of team. We just didn't pitch it well enough. But one of the reasons that we put ourselves in this position, so the last 3 weeks we've pitched, or maybe 4 or 5 weeks we've pitched it really, really well, but we didn't pitch it well enough today.
We talked about those last 3 weeks, and I mean, you guys were 7-14 in conference play, and you stormed all the way back, and one of those non-con wins was against ranked Southern Miss. So do you think you guys are playing your best baseball of the season over that 10-game span?
Yeah, I think certainly when you consider 2 things. One, where we were, in 7-14, but other, the competition that we play. Obviously at the beginning of the year, we got off to a really good start, and we're highly ranked. But here at the end, it was much tougher to play well. You're playing in tougher environments, you're playing against better teams, and a lot more on the line. And when we started, and so for that reason, I'm super proud of them, for hanging together.
Going into Hoover, are you guys looking at it as we have to win X number of games to make sure that we're for sure?
You don't ever do that. You just play on Tuesday, and I don't even know who we play or what time, but you play on Tuesday, and that's one of the differences that to be able to navigate postseason is, for the first time all year, you don't really know every day, what you're playing, who you're playing, what time you're playing after the game. Everybody's looking. We're handing out itineraries at 11 o'clock and what time the next meal is. So it's a different feel than what you do the previous 4 months, where everything is so structured for them. At every meeting and every meal, and going over scouting reports and pictures. The postseason, especially when you get to tournament play, until you get to a super regional, is different, and it's fun, but it's different, and so. That would be not real smart. You knew the answer to that anyway. I don't know. You're asking me to get some quote, but that was the answer that you probably would have answered.
Well, so you obviously that's the main thing. Everyone loves to look ahead, like what you just mentioned. How everyone's like, oh well, if they do this and that and whatever. But you sound like you're trying really hard for you and your guys to keep it at a true day at a time mentality. It seems to work for you.
I mean, like,
but why do you think that's so important?
Because you don't even know, how can you look at it? You don't even know who you're playing, and if you lose on Tuesday, you don't play anymore. So it's not rocket science, So you better focus on whoever you're playing on Tuesday, and for those 3 or 4 hours. So again, I know you got to ask the questions. They're not great questions. Yeah, we better worry about Tuesday. I don't think we can really look, too far ahead after that. We better worry about Tuesday.
How confident are you in your guys that this is an NCAA tournament team that can do some damage in the postseason?
I really cringe. That's a question I know you have to ask, right? And so I always cringe when asking that, when answering that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what I think, right? And it doesn't really matter what you guys think. It matters what the 10 people that are going to make the decision, in Indianapolis. And so, to me, it's wasted energy. The better that you play, the more that you win, the better shot you got. And that's really the truth. And so, I think to this point, there's some things that, some black marks maybe on our resume that don't look great, but then there's also a lot of good things, where when you look at what we've done over the last 3 weeks, when you look at what we've done against certain competition and what our road record, our RPI, there's a lot of good things that we've done. So yes, but I don't get. Yes, I think we're a postseason team, but I don't get a vote.
I know you're not announcing, but Roche was in the 50s on Thursday. Think he would be available on Tuesday?
I would probably think he would, but we're not quite sure yet.
What did it mean to you to kind of honor your seniors before the game today? And I saw your embrace with Tim. I mean, what does he mean to you over these last few years with this program, especially what he's gone through and overcame? What does Tim Elko mean to you, and what was today like?
All right, it's always, I think senior day is always a special day, and I think it's a little emotional. You can see they're all a little glassy-eyed when they walk out there, because I think it finally hits them, and their family's there, and it's a special day, and all those guys have meant so much. And I don't know if it was in the if Mitch put it in the reading as they introduced the guys, but I'm not sure if this group over the last 4+ years haven't won. If they haven't won the most games, they're right up there with the most wins of any senior class, in the history of Ole Miss baseball. So, these guys, changed us. These guys, continue to make, evolve where you're averaging over 9,000 a game, and they've won a lot of games, and obviously a special part. They're neat kids. They're all leaving here with their degrees. Some of them with 2 degrees. They've been through the pandemic, and they, again, probably maybe one of their greatest marks was, this year, where, record-wise, certainly not their best year, but to be able to handle all the things that we just said, and I think, again, give them credit. It wasn't some motivational speech by me or the other coaches. I think it was the leadership of Tim and others to be able to hold the team together. So, I'm proud of them for a lot of different reasons, but maybe that as much as anything.
All right, guys.
Nice.
Appreciate you.